after delivering the lesson, the next step is for you to evaluate your class, to give assessment. Okay? So, when we validate theoretical knowledge, kasi nagturo ka na di ba? That's the theory. When we validate this theoretical knowledge in the actual assessment of learning, we have this assessment of student learning. Okay? So, today, at the end of the lesson, or at the end of this module, you should be able to demonstrate understanding about the principles in constructing, let's say, mga traditional, alternative forms, okay, of high-quality assessment. Okay? What else? You should be able to apply knowledge and skills in the use of the different assessment tools, yung mga formative tools, assessment tools in the classroom. Okay? And at the same manner, you will apply basic concepts in test construction. How to construct tests. Okay? What are the different types of tests na binibigyan natin sa mga bata? Okay? Mga quizzes. Ano yung mga parts ng exams? Okay? And then also, in assessment 2 or assessment of student learning 2, you will also be learning basic concepts about educational statistics, okay, in regards to, or with regards to, assessment and evaluation. Okay, so that is the module for assessment of learning. Okay, now what is assessment of student learning? So when we speak of assessment and evaluation, it requires a thoughtful planning and implementation to support the learning process and inform teaching. So all assessments and evaluation of your students' achievement must be based on outcomes. Okay? Diba? Nagturo ka because of mga objectives. So if you want to check if you meet the objectives, kung nakuha mo talaga yung mga objectives ng lesson mo, you need to perform assessment. Okay? So you need to what do you call this? There should be a comprehensive process that involves various methods to gather information about the knowledge, skills, and understanding of your student. Diba? Mga objectives natin. Affective, that is about values, attitude, skills. May natutunan ba sila in terms of the skills? And the cognitive, which is knowledge. So you can test that. You can, what do you call this? Quantify by means of using assessment tools. Okay? By means of using assessment tools. So, tests, measurements, assessments, and evaluations are all components of this particular process. But, of course, sasabihin nyo, sir, ano bang pagkakaiba ng mga test, assessment, ang evaluation? Diba? Parang pare-pareho lang naman yon. Okay. Now, when we say tests, this is an instrument designed to measure any quality, ability, skill, or knowledge. So, any item that comprised of, or any curriculum that comprised of test items of the area, it is designed to measure, then that is what we call as a test. Okay? Like multiple choice test in chemistry, spelling test, okay? Ano pa? Practical test in science. Yun yung sasabi nating test. Okay? So, these are specific instruments or tools designed to measure the student's performance. Okay? This student's performance against what we call a predetermined standard, predetermined criteria. Kasi meron tayong criteria eh. Okay? Meron tayong table of specifications. Kaya binigyan natin sila ng test. So yun yung sinasabi natin na test. And this test typically meron siyang clear and specific format. Multiple choice pa yan, true or false. Okay? So, in short, tests are often used to assess student knowledge in a particular subject. Okay? In a particular subject, if you want to measure specific skills. Okay? So, yun yung sinasabi natin na test. So, how about measurement? Kasi sa college kasi, sa Prof Ed, Professional Education, meron kayong subject na measurement and evaluation. Measurement and evaluation. So, yung measurement and evaluation na yan, this is assessment of learning na sinasabi natin. So, when we say measurement, that is the process of quantifying the degree to which someone or something possesses a given trait. Okay? So, behaviors are differentiated. So, when you collect the data, let's say when you collect yung mga ng mga bata, scores nila, and quantify these scores into characteristics, attributes, so it's either qualitative or quantitative, then we can say that we are assessing the student or the learner with measurement. Okay? Ano ba mga examples ng mga measurements? Reading speed. Okay? So when you measure the number of words read per minute by each student, if you want to assess their reading fluency, then that is measurement na sinasabi. Okay? What else? Height measurement. Simple as that. When you measure the height of your students in the classroom to understand the distribution of the height and calculate average height of your students, then that is measurement. Okay? So, it should not be used interchangeably yung mga test, measurement, evaluation, and assessment. So, ano naman, sir, ang assessment? Okay. Assessments are broader in scope. Okay? Broader in scope compared to test and measurement. So, mas broad siya. Okay? So, when you say assessment, this is the process of gathering, collecting data then, organizing data into interpretable form to have a basis for decision making. Okay? So, ito yung prerequisite bago ka mag-evaluate. Halimbawa, meron kang performance assessment in music. Okay? So, when we say performance assessment in music, you gather your students and the students have to perform a piece of music on an instrument to evaluate their musical abilities and understanding musical concept. So that is assessing. Okay? Nag-a-assess ka. Assessment yun. So, assessment can be formative, yung ongoing. It can be summative, yung final grade nila. Okay? So, that's what we call as assessment. Ano pa? Mga projects, project-based assessment. Let's say you assign a project to one student. Let's say you ask them to create a PowerPoint presentation or create a model of this particular topic. So, when you grade, when you rate, when you give score to that project, then that is what we call as assessment. Okay? Yes. Reading to assess the level of vocabularies. Pwedeng assessment din yun. Okay? So, para ma-determine kasi ninyo yung pagkakaiba ng assessment and then the last one is evaluation. Yung evaluation naman, ito na yung you are giving judgment na. Okay? You are giving interpretations already. So, systematic analysis of both quantitative and qualitative order to make sound judgment. Okay? Paano ba nagkakaroon ng sound judgment? So, you collect data from sa test nila, sa measurement, sa assessment. So, kumbaga, ito yung pinaka-last, pinakamataas. Okay? For example, if you want to know the effectiveness of the teaching method that we use in the class, so you need to evaluate, then judge. Okay? If you want to determine the individual student performance, okay, magbibigay ka ng evaluation. Okay? So, yun naman yung sinasabi natin na evaluation. Kung meron ka ng sound judgment, meron ka ng interpretation. Diba? Okay, nagpa-exam ka ng 1 to 50 na multiple choice. That's a test. Okay? Kung, let's say for example, nilagyan mo yun ng timer. Okay, you need to answer this 50 item in 30 minutes. So, mini-measure mo yung speed nila of taking the test. Kung gaano nila iba-budget yung time. Okay? Doon sa pag-take ng 50 items in just 30 minutes. So, ibig sabihin, less than a minute yung isang item. Okay? Now, paano naman ang assessment doon sa sinasabi natin na nagbigay ka ng 50 items na test? So, when you gather the data and in-arrange mo pa lang siya and ready for evaluation na, assessment pa lang yon. Tapos, yung evaluation, meron ka ng interpretation. Kung let's say, pinag-combine mo lahat yung scores ng klase, sabihin mong, very poor ang performance ng mga bata sa exam na ito. Okay? So, you are already giving judgment. You are giving interpretation. That becomes an evaluation. Okay? So, at least na distinguish nyo ang test and measurement and then evaluation and assessment. Basta, when you give interpretation on a particular activity, that is already an evaluation. Okay? Like sa teachers, di ba, ina-assess natin ang mga teachers. Paano ba ang assessment sa mga teachers? I-assess mo ang kanilang personality, i-assess mo yung kanilang demonstration, yung teaching performance. Okay? Now, if you want to know the performance and effectiveness of teachers sa kanilang pagtuturo, i-base mo lahat doon. Like, i-add mo lahat yung class observation mo, feedback ng mga bata, feedback ng mga co-teachers niya, ano pa, at saka ikaw na leader kung ano ang na-observe mo sa kanya. So, when you give one judgment or one interpretation sa lahat ng assessment tool na yon, then you are giving teacher evaluation. In-evaluate mo na siya. Then, sasabihin mo, you are an excellent teacher. You are an outstanding teacher. Okay? So, yun yung evaluation na sinasabi natin. Okay? Clear? Clear po? Now, in assessment also, para hindi kayo malito, kasi sometimes sa board examinations, you need to be very careful kung anong tinatanong, kung assessment for learning, assessment of learning, or assessment as learning. Magkakaiba kasi yung tatlong yun. Okay? So let's have them one by one. Pag assessment for learning, Ito yung use of information about student progress. Formative siya. When we say formative, siguro unahin muna natin yung formative and saan ba yun? Ito. Assessment instruction. Kasi baka formative ng formative, sir, ano kaya yun? Summative ng summative, di ba? Okay. In assessment instruction, if you're giving instruction at the beginning of the chapter, beginning of the lesson, that is a placement assessment. Okay? When you give assessment during the course of study to monitor student progress, so that becomes a formative assessment. Okay, ganito. 'Di ba? Pag nagtuturo kayo araw-araw, pag nagturo kayo araw-araw at may lesson ka, nagpa-quiz ka ng 10 points. I-record mo yon o hindi, okay lang. The next day, nagpa-test ka ulit. The next day, nagpa-performance ka. So, kung yung mga assessment mo every day or during that particular quarter, we call it formative assessment. So, sa formative assessment, you may or may not record that in your class record. Okay? Kasi formative nga di ba? Paano na lang kung nire-record mo lahat? Ang dami-dami mo nang i-compute. Sa isang buwan, ilang scores na yon, di ba? So, yung mga ginagawa mo na evaluation or assessment form, that is a formative assessment. Okay? Kahit nagpaano ka, simple recall after your lesson, nagpa-summarize ka after your lesson, nagpa-essay ka after the lesson. Those are formative assessment. Ang opposite ng formative ay si summative. Si summative naman, it is done at the end of instruction for certifying mastery or assigning grades. Ito naman yung mga chapter tests, quarter exams, term exams. We call them summative assessment. Okay? So, let's say meron kang lesson na isang chapter 1 sa book. So, syempre maraming topics yon. So, within the chapter, syempre, you are giving assessment para if you want to check if natututunan ng mga bata. You want to check kung naiintindihan ng mga bata. So, magpapaquiz ka, kahit araw-araw, magpapaquiz ka. So, pwede yun as formative assessment. Pero kung let's say, after mag-chapter exam ka or unit test, that becomes a summative assessment. Okay? Yun yung formative and summative na dinadaldal ko doon kanina. Diagnostic assessment, from the word diagnose, ito is to check lang kung saan na yung mga bata in terms of yung kanilang capabilities. So this is intensive study of learning difficulties. 'Di ba nung time natin nung kayo nag-aaral, 'di ba meron yung time na pinapa-exam kayo kahit hindi nyo pa alam yung mga tinitake nyo na exams. Naabutan nyo ba ang NSAT or tsaka NSAT and ano yung pang-elementary? NEET, National Elementary Achievement Test, National Secondary Achievement Test or Assessment Test. Di ba? Pinapa-exam nila yon before or sa umpisa ng school year. Tapos, ipapa-exam ulit nila yon at the end of the school year. Yung umpisa, yun yung diagnostic test. Okay? Pwede rin siyang placement test. Kasi yung diagnostic, ida-diagnose yan, ibibigay kay teacher yung result para makita niya kung saan doon ang alam mo, saan pa ang hindi, saan yung tututukan ni teacher. So pag natapos ang school year, bibigay na sa inyo yung same exam. We call that as achievement test. Pero that can be a summative assessment. Okay? Kasi sinasummarize na niya lahat eh. Okay? Application na yun sa lahat. So, yun naman yung pair ni diagnostic. Diagnostic test, achievement test. Si formative, tsaka si summative test. Okay? Clear? Now, since alam nyo na ang summative and formative, kaya yung mga i-discuss ninyo everyday, tapos nagpa-exam, nagpa-quiz ka, that can be summative test. So when we say summative, assessment for learning. Formative pala yun, sorry. Ang assessment for learning ay formative in nature. Kasi it can occur throughout the teaching and learning process using variety of tools. Halimbawa, mga quizzes, class activities, one-on-one conference with the student, peer assessment. Yan ay mga examples ng assessment for learning. Okay? So, formative assessment ang assessment for learning. Okay? Kasi ang purpose niyan is to identify the strengths and weaknesses of your student. Then afterwards, you will help them understand their progress. Okay? And then, of course, with your guidance as the teacher, kailangan ituro sa kanila kung paano mag-adapt. Okay? Sa atin na teachers, kung paano tayo maka-adjust din, maka-adapt sa ating mga instructional methods, sa strategy natin, just to meet the demands of your learners, yung needs ng ating learners. So, ang assessment for learning is a teacher-driven assessment for student. Okay? Activity yan ni teacher. Ginagawa ni teacher para sa mga bata. Okay? So, yan yung tatawag nating assessment for learning. So, I repeat, ang assessment for learning is a formative assessment. Okay? Imagine mo lang yung nagpa-quiz ka araw-araw, di ba? Kung every time na matapos ang lesson mo, may quiz, 5 points, 10 points, tapos nagpa-activity ka, those are formative assessment in nature. So that can be a part of the assessment for learning. Okay? Next, ang assessment as learning naman, ito naman ay same, formative pa din siya. So when we say formative, it can occur throughout, okay, the learning process. Pwedeng sa umpisa hanggang sa dulo. Okay? So, ito naman, ang assessment as learning is for students. Okay? Actively involves student reflection on learning, monitoring their own progress. Okay? So, kung teacher-driven, kanina yung assessment for learning, itong assessment as learning is student-driven with teacher guidance. Okay? So, this assessment as learning supports students in critically analyzing learning related to curricular outcomes. Okay? Like, mga reflection journals nila. Diba? If they keep reflection journals with them, that's an example of assessment as learning. Okay? Let's say, if they want to record their reflections on what they have learned, what are the challenges that they are facing or they have faced, then anong strategy ang gagawin nila para mag-improve. So, that is an assessment as learning. Okay? Kung ina-assess din nila ang sarili nila, okay? If students assess their own work or their own progress, may mga ganung bata din eh. Regularly, they are identifying kung saan sila bumagsak, kung sa math, sa English, okay? Identifying areas which or where they excel, kung saan sila mababa, that requires improvement. That assessment process is what we call as assessment as learning. Okay? So, assessment for learning, assessment as learning. Okay? And the last, ito yung subject natin, assessment of learning. So, yung first two, assessment for and assessment as, are formative assessment in nature. Si assessment of learning is summative assessment. Yung first two kanina, it occurs all throughout the process, the teaching learning process. Pero si assessment of learning, sa end lang siya of a learning cycle. Okay? So, eto yung mga final exams, yung mga standardized tests, yung mga international benchmark tests, culminating projects na binibigay natin, di ba? Mga pang-finale, kumbaga, di ba? Pang-finale. Okay? Kasi yun yung importante, yung assessment of learning. We need to know kung natuto ba sila, mapupromote ba sila sa grade 3, grade 4, or mag-retain sa grade 2, ganon. Okay? So, assessment of learning refers to yung approach na ginagamit pa rin natin, traditional approach of evaluating students' knowledge, skills, behavior, understanding. Yun yung definition natin kanina ng module na ito, di ba? Assessment of learning, para hindi kayo malito. Okay? Of course, using different tools. Ayan, o using variety of tools. Okay? Final exams. If you administer comprehensive exams at the end of a semester, at the end of a quarter, at the end of a term, then that's considered as a summative assessment or assessment of learning. Okay? For example, sumali kayo sa mga exams, international exams, standardized test yun. Yung, ano yung sinalihan natin? PISA exams. Okay? To measure the academic performances ng mga bata, compare it with a broader population, yung iba-ibang country. O di ba yung mga taga-UAE, rank 34 sila eh. Yung mga Philippines, rank 68 out of 70 or 69 yata. Remember nyo yung very controversial sa DepEd na PISA exams. Every 4 years yun na exam. Global exams yun. So, lagi nagtatap dyan ang Singapore, ang Finland, ang Korea. Magagaling ang mga estudyante. Kasi dahil maganda ang kanilang curriculum. Okay? So, that can be considered as assessment of learning as summative assessment. Any standardized test. Okay? What else? Culminating projects. Ito, ano ba yung mga project na binibigay? Thesis. O, hindi ka gagraduate daw ng grade 12 kung wala kang thesis. Or grade 10. So you are assigning a major, let's say, project or a research assignment that requires, syempre pag research kasi, it requires students to demonstrate their knowledge and skills na natutunan sa research na subject. Meron kasing research 1, research 2. Okay? So, yung knowledge and skills accumulated over a year or a semester or one academic year, yan. So, di ba, kailangan pa nilang mag-defend ng kanilang thesis bago papasa sa senior high school or sa junior high school. So, that's an example of assessment of learning. Which is very important sa atin na teachers kasi we are giving quantitative what do you call this? Performances, results. Diba? With high honors, yun yung evaluation. With honors, kasi ang grade niya 98, 96, because of our assessment, using assessment tools. Okay? So, yun yung mga basic concepts ng assessment of learning. Okay? Assessment for, assessment as, these are formative assessment. Assessment of is a summative assessment. Okay? Clear po yun? Now, let's have the mode of assessment. Paano ba tayo nag-a-assess? One is a portfolio assessment. Ano ba ang portfolio? Diba ang portfolio, yun yung mga compilation. Sa kindergarten, kino-compile mo yung mga ano nila, drawing, yung sulat, writing, activity. So, portfolio is the process of gathering multiple indicators of student progress. Diba, kino-compile din natin yung test paper nila ng first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. Tapos hindi nyo pipirmahan ang clearance kung hindi complete, diba? Or hindi nyo tatanggapin kung walang signature ni parent pag pinapauwi yung mga test paper. Okay? This student progress, of course, will support the student. Okay? So ano bang mga ano na to? Mga working portfolio, show portfolio, document portfolio. Kasi makikita rin ng bata kasi ang kanyang improvement kung may mga kinikip siya doon na mga ano niya, mga activities, compilation of activities. Okay? Yan yung mga portfolio. Next, performance assessment. So from the word performance, it requires actual demonstration of skills or creation of products of learning. Like, especially kung MAPE teacher ka, yan, magpasayaw ka, pakanta, ano pa, magpa-practical test ka sa basketball, sa volleyball, ano pa. Kung TLE ka naman, yan, magpapaluto, baking, oral test, practical test. Sa English naman, magpapa-oral test ka, yung elocution. Merong, let's say, oration, ano pa, yung declamation. So, you are giving assessment based on the performances. Kaya, performance assessment po ang tawag doon. Okay? Ang disadvantage, syempre, subjective minsan, kung wala kang rubrics, mga teacher na gano'n na, naku, ang ganda lang ng boses, may tremolo lang, 100. Merong ano lang, may tawag doon, nag-whistle lang yung bata sa kanta, 100. Okay? Nakita mo lang na ang gaganda ng costume, 100 ka agad ang grade. So, dapat meron laging rubrics na sinasabi. Okay? Ano yung rubrics? Yun yung criteria for judging. Para hindi ka awayin ng mga parents. Especially kung nanood yung mga parents sa performances ng mga anak nila. Diba? May mga ganun eh. So, dapat may criteria ka. Especially kung, let's say, coordination. Kung nagpa-painting ka, ang ganda-ganda ng painting ng bata. Pero ang baba nung binigay mo, 75. Yung isa, hindi masyadong maganda, pero 90. Oh, so kailangan i-ano mo yun, i-defend. So sabihin mo, ma'am, kasi in terms of relevance to our team, wali ito. Maganda lang ang pagka-drawing pero medyo malayo sa team namin. Oh, ibig sabihin, meron kang criteria, meron kang rubrics na sinusunod. Okay? So, especially kung malaki yung relevance to the team, originality, ano pa, color combination, overall presentation, kung baka mamaya madungis yung artwork niya. Diba? So, those are performance assessment. Very important ang rubrics. Dito sa mga international schools, ang grading system nila, may mga rubrics na, di ba? Kung sino yung mga nagtuturo sa inyo, in-circle mo na lang kung ano yung saan score niya doon, kung saan siya na naka-categorize. Kung 1 to 10 yung pag-rate mo, o insert mo lang yung 8, 7, depende sa description kung anong na-achieve ng bata. So, rubrics ang tawag doon. Okay? And the last mode of assessment is the traditional. Ito yung mga paper and pen test. Yung sulat. Like mga standardized test, teacher-made test. Ayan, yung mga sinasagutan na nila. Mga true or false, fill in the blanks, essay, enumeration, multiple choice, ano pa? Matching type. Okay? Ano pa ba yung ibang mga types? True or false, essay, problem solving naman sa mathematics. Sa mga bata, yung coloring, okay? Connecting the dots. Yun yung mga traditional mode of assessment. Any objective paper and pen test. Siyempre, when I say paper and pen, ito yung ginagamitan ng papel, tsaka pencil. Okay? So, portfolio, performance, and traditional mode of assessment. Okay? Clear? So, let's proceed. Now, before we proceed sa mga different types of tests, let's have first the principles of high-quality assessment. When do we say na high-quality ang assessment mo? Diba? Kasi syempre sasabihin mo, quality yung akin kasi I know my students better than you. Kaya, yun ang binigay kong exam nila. Kasi, alam kong yun ang kanilang kailangan. Dito sila mababa. Dito sila mga ganon. Okay? One is clarity of learning targets. Okay? Kasi itong principles of high quality assessments, student assessment, these are very essential, okay, for teachers, because we need to ensure na yung mga assessment practices na binibigay natin sa mga bata ay effective. What else? It should be accurate, okay, and very important, should be fair, diba? Wala dapat mga favoritism. Okay. Now, clarity. Clear and appropriate learning targets. What students know and can do, and the criteria for judging student performance. Dapat clear cut. Kasi magtuturo kayo sa high school. Ako, when I had the chance to check test questions nung academic supervisor ako, ni-require ko lagi, especially sa high school, na merong essay type sa last part. Okay? Essay type of test. Para naman ma-train yung mga high school sa organization of their thoughts, yung pag-express nila ng sarili nila. Minsan kasi, mga teachers, dahil tinatamad pag-checking na ng test paper, syempre babasahin mo yung essay. Naku, pag tinatamad, especially kung ang dami niyang klase, 8 ang kanilang section, mga ganyan. Kaya tamad silang magbasa ng essay. So sabi ko, kahit isang question lang, please. Kasi we need to have to train them sa higher order of thinking skills. Hindi lang yung nag-memorize sila, then sagot ng multiple choice. Diba? Kailangan din ng essay na may why or how. So, pag ganun, kailangan mong clear at the start pa lang na ito yung iyong rubrics. Rubrics, ito yung criteria for judging mo. Let's say 10 points yung essay. Nakita mo lang ng haba ng sagot, 10 na kaagad ang nilagay mo. Hindi mo na binasa. Diba? Pero kung babasahin mo, naku, paikot-ikot pala, wala namang sense. So, dapat, kung 10 points, sabihin mo 10 points. Clear ang content niya, may laman, tapos magandang organization niya, walang grammatical error. So, 10. Now, para kasi makita mo kung ma-identify mo yung scores ng bata, kung saan sila magkakatalo. Tapos nakita mo lang din yung isa, 10 ulit. 10, 10. Tapos yung anliit ng sagot, isang paragraph lang, binigyan mo lang ng 5. Pero nung binasa mo, yun pala yung 10 dapat kasi very clear, ang ganda ng organized, direct to the point, or on point ang kanyang sagot. Diba? So kung meron kang clear rubrics, madidefend mo ang sarili mo pag nagreklamo yung mga bata. Okay? Dapat kasi meron ka doon, nakalagay na doon sa instruction. Answer the following question briefly but substantially. Ako naman, pag nag-check ako, nagpapa-exam ako ng essay, nilagay ko lang doon, nilagay ko ng restrictions. Sabi ko, sa instruction, ito yung una kasi dapat clear. In not more than 5 sentences, answer the question briefly but substantially based on the below rubrics. So 10 points yun. 10. Lagay mo na doon. Content, grammar, correct. Organization of thoughts. 8. Kung medyo may grammatical error. 6. Kung medyo so-so lang ang content, may grammatical error pa. Diba? Tapos lagay mo din doon 2. Kung kahit off-tangent yung sagot, basta may naisagot. O kung nag-effort yung bata na ang dami niyang sinasabi doon, pero medyo malayo na siya sa katotohanan, ilagyan mo din naman siya ng 2 for the effort. Okay? Pero, syempre, sabi ko naman sa kanila, if you will answer the essay part more than 5 sentences, hindi ko na babasahin yung pang 6 pababa. Babasahin ko lang yung first 5. 1, 2, 3, tama na. So, dapat, sabi ko sa kanila, yung gist ng sagot ninyo dapat nasa 5 sentences. Para matuto din sila. Okay? Yung iba kasi masyado lang maek-ek, sige, ek-ek lang sa 10 sentences na. Pero very clear naman doon. In not more than 5 sentences, answer the following question briefly but substantially. 10 points. Ganun. Okay? Para maiwasan din, edi cross out mo na yung pang 6 sentence pababa para hindi ka rin mahirapan na teacher na mag-check. Di ba? So, kasama yun sa strategy mo. At least clear ang iyong instruction. Okay? That's clarity. Transparent expectations. Kung magpabigay ka ng true or false na test. Minsan kasi nagbibigay ako ng right minus wrong. Di ba? Pero kung hindi nyo sagutin, hindi yan wrong. Minsan kasi mga bata, kahit di nila alam, dalawa na nga lang ang option, magi-guess pa sila. Di ba? So, bakit hindi mo i-analyze ng mabuti? So, right minus wrong. 2 points each, yun. O, di ba? Nakuha mo ay 3, mali mo yung 2, 2 na lang nakuha mo doon. Kasi, right minus wrong na. Okay? So, dapat meron kayong clarity of learning targets. Next is appropriateness of assessment method. So, yung assessment method mo to be used should match the learning targets. Kung ano ba, multiple choice ba bibigay mo? Problem solving ba? Essay ba? Or short answer? Completion form? Yun. Okay? It should be appropriate. Nakita ka lang doon na there are 7 Emirates in the UAE. Kita mo sa libro. Tapos lagay mo na doon. What are the 7 Emirates? 1. The 7 points na. Ang bilis. Knowledge lang yun. Walang kahirap-hirap. Nasagot na nila 7 points. Okay naman na i-balance yung test mo. Let's say 50 items. Yung 25, syempre, pwede na rin pang knowledge, pang comprehension. Pero yung kalahati naman, challenging naman yung mag-analyze sila, Ganon. Okay? So, of course, it should be appropriate. Validity. So, the degree to which a score-based inference is appropriate, reasonable, and useful. Okay? Kung ano ang kailangan mong i-measure talaga sa mga bata, yun yung ibigay mo. Okay? Because, a valid assessment ensures that yung conclusion or yung inference mo na makukuha are accurate and meaningful. Like content validity, criterion validity. Okay? Like halimbawa, yung content, dapat yung laman ng test mo naka-align sa objectives. At na-cover mo dapat yun. Okay? Pero pwede ka naman magbigay minsan kasi ng mga challenging questions. Pero ipaalam mo sa mga bata para hindi ka nila reklamo na, sir, meron kaming dinapag-aralan doon sa test. May mga ganun sila. Nakalimutan mo palang turo sa section na yun. Diba? So, content validity. Reliability. Ito naman yung consistency. When several items in a test measure the same thing. Okay? Or stability when the same measures are given across time. Yung mga test retest, parallel forms. Okay? Like for example, you will administer the same test to a group of students on 2 different occasions. Titingnan mo lang yung correlation ng scores nila. Okay? Para ma-check mo kasi yung reliability. Let's say may doubt ka, bakit perfect nila lahat. Okay? So, pinari-test mo. Di ba? May mga ganong case. So, to check the degree of consistency in several items. Halimbawa, last yung chapter test mo, merong mga items na halos lahat sila ay mali. So, itry mong ilagay ulit yung item na yun sa next na chapter test. Tingnan mo kung natutunan na nila o nag-gets na nila. Okay? Para makita mo yung consistency. Kung mali pa din, kailangan mo nang baguhin. Okay? I-revise mo na yung test item. Kaya magkakaroon tayo ng item analysis. Pag nagpa-exam ka ng 50 items na multiple choice, pwede mo yung i-item analysis. Tingnan mo kung bakit bumagsak ang kalahati ng mga estudyante mo. So you need to analyze the test items. Okay? Hindi dahil pinapahirapan mo yung mga bata, natuwan-tuwa ka pa na bagsak sila kasi kesyo magugulo sila, makukulit, hindi nakikinig. Hindi yung pwede kasi ang goal natin lagi is to deliver the best result, the fastest way, the easier way possible. So, para mas madali nilang maintindihan, maghanap ka ng method, maghanap ka ng strategy mo. Okay? So, reliability, fairness. Fair assessment is unbiased and provides students the opportunities to demonstrate what they have learned. Okay? Dapat impartial din tayo. Considerate. Impartial. Okay? We need to ensure that all our students have equal opportunity to demonstrate their knowledge, their skills, without any biases, without any discrimination. Example, inclusive language. Especially dito sa UAE, we have inclusive education. Okay? Ibig sabihin, hindi mo pwedeng ipa-exam yung exam para sa mga above average sa mga below average kasi hindi yun fair. Okay? So dapat in let's say for example, language assessment. Dapat yung accessible and yung naiintindihan on their own level. Okay? Give diverse examples para fair. Okay? That's quality assessment. Huwag mong i-compare yung project ng estudyante mo na with determination, yung mga with special needs, sa wala. Kasi magkaiba sila dapat. Okay? So, it should manifest fairness. Practicality. Assessment should consider the teacher's familiarity with the method. Kung familiar tayo sa ating method, yung time na gugugulin mo or the time that will be required, yung pag-administer mo ng test, ano pa, yung ease of scoring. Yung sabi ko, kung gusto mo maka-check lahat, kaagad, edi multiple choice lahat. And of course, the cost. Okay? So that's what we call as practicality. Considers the feasibility and ease of implementing assessments. Like simple scoring. Siyempre, pag sa atin, science teachers, mathematics teachers, kung problem solving lahat ng exam, ikaw mahirapan sa pag-check. Siyempre, check mo pa yung isa-isa. Pero siyempre, sasabihin mo siguro na, mahihina naman ito, walang masasagot yan. O di kung walang sinagot, X, lahat, X, 0. Diba? So, practicality. You need to consider the feasibility. Okay? Yung time, yung pag-administer ng test. Okay? Simple scoring. Efficiency. Related to practicality, syempre efficiency, yung optimal use of resources such as time and effort in the assessment process. O kagaya nung sinabi ko na, si Sir, nagtuturo ng educational technology, integrate technology. Paper and pen pa din naman ang ginagawa ng exam. Kanilagay ko na sa Google Form yung inyong assessment. So, eto, pag automated ang scoring, pag-click mo ng submit, may score na. Efficiency. Okay? Computer-based testing. Ayan, imbes na magsagot ka sa printed, di click na lang, letter A, click. That's being efficient. Okay? Item analysis, yung kinukwento ko na i-analyze nyo yung mga items ng mga tests ninyo. Para makita nyo. Kasi second quarter na, hindi man lang nag-i-improve ang mga estudyante mo. Diba? So, hindi dahil sa batad lang. Dapat sa'yo din na teacher. Isipin mo, baka naman yung strategy mo ng pagtuturo, hindi nila mag-gets. So, sa dinami-dami ng strategies, kailangan mong bago-baguhin. Make it creative, resourceful. And the last, positive consequences. Of course, this should be the overall principle of high-quality assessment. Okay? The overall quality of assessment is enhanced when it has a positive effect on student motivation and habits. Kung positive ang outcomes, result, yung gustong-gusto nila. Okay? Hindi yung iba yung sobrang dali ng exams mo. Okay? Yung for us teachers, high-quality assessment lead to better information and decision-making about our students. Hindi na tayo mahihirapan sa mga bata kung naiintindihan nila ng maayos. Okay? So, we should give high-quality assessment sa ating mga estudyante using the different assessment tools. Do you have any questions? Okay, let's proceed. Let's proceed to the different types of tests. I know yung iba sa inyo nagtuturo na, so sisiw na lang sa inyo ito yung mga tests. Pero yung mga unit earner, at the end of this module, one of your tasks will be to construct simple tests isang multiple choice, isang basta lahat ng types of tests. Anyway, 10 points lang naman. Okay? Pwede rin naman kayong tumingin online yung mga uploaded. Pero syempre, gawin nyo siyang guide. Basis, kumbaga. Huwag nyo i-copy-paste para matuto kayong gumawa ng test. O, di ba? Pag nagturo na kayo, hala, paano kaya gumawa ng test? Di ba? Kung, let's say, for example, magpapaquiz ka. O, hindi naman pwedeng what is lahat. Diba? Nakakita ka lang doon ng pangalan. What is the name of the... Okay? So, dapat higher order. Now, let's start with the types of tests. The types of tests according to purpose, we have psychological tests and educational tests. Diba? When you enter sa mga entrance exams, merong aptitude test. Personality test kung mag-apply ka din ng work. Diba? So, ang psychological aims to measure students' intelligence or mental ability in a large degree without reference to what the students has learned. Diba meron tayong mga aptitude test, qualifying test, entrance test. Pero yung entrance, minsan kasama din sa educational. Pero yung educational, ito yung result of learning and instruction. Ito yung mga sa school. Achievement test, performance test, yung test sa classroom. Educational tests. Okay? So, we have psychological and educational tests. Yung pinapa-exam natin na MI, yung multiple intelligences, pinapa-exam natin sa mga grade 10 para malaman na nila kung anong interest nila sa buhay. Kung saan sila, anong intelligence meron sila, kung sa ano ba sila, sa sports, sa music, ano pa, sa numbers smart ba sila, or sa interpersonal smart. That's an intelligence test, which is a psychological purpose type of test. Okay? What else? Survey and mastery. Ito naman ay type of test according to scope or content. So, kung survey, it covers broad range of objective. Nagpa-survey ka, pero yung mastery test, meron ka lang isang specific objective, which is to master. Okay? Yung fundamental skill and abilities lang. Let's say, for example, gusto mo lang na ma-master nila yung subject mo for the whole week. Magbibigay ka ng mastery test or chapter test. Okay? Survey and mastery. Verbal and non-verbal, practical. Siyempre, pag verbal, with the use of words. Non-verbal naman, wala siyang words. Okay? Pwedeng sa mga graph, 3D objects, numbers. Okay? Pwede rin yung mga sayaw-sayaw. Hindi naman sila gumagamit ng words, no? That is also a type of test kung nagpa-performance test ka. Okay. Verbal and non-verbal type of tests. Next, standardized and informal tests. This is according to construction of tests. Ang mga standardized tests, yun yung mga board examinations constructed by professional item writer. Yung mga international benchmark tests. Okay? So, mainly lahat, yung mga standardized, puro multiple choice lahat yun. Kaya sa board exam ninyo sa LET, 150 items ng Prof. Ed. Ito, from Module 1 to Module 12. 150 items ang kukunin doon. Plain multiple choice. You need to answer that in 3 hours. Okay? That's unstandardized test. Pero yung mga test na ginagawa ng teacher sa classroom, we call it informal tests. Okay? Informal test. Yung mga ginagawa nating test sa classroom ay hindi lang multiple choice, but various types of items are used. Okay? And then teacher picks or writes item as needed for the test. Sa standardized, hindi screen yan. Okay? National Career Assessment Examination, standardized yun, sir. Okay? Standardized. Yung ang gagawa ay iisa, let's say PRC or BLEPT, ganon, yung professional writers. Okay? Pero yung mga simple na test na natin, that is an informal test. Yung in-exam nila sa Pilipinas, yung PISA exams, yung number 68 tayo out of 70. Diba? 69 yata, basta yung last ay mga Cambodia, parang gano'n. That's an standardized test. Iisa ang test sa lahat. Okay? Yung mga NSAT natin noon, yung ano pa yung mga NCEE, nung kayo, nung time nyo NCEE, nung time namin NSAT. Ngayon is Career Assessment Test. Ito pa palang ibang ano. Ang standardized can be scored by a machine. Kaya yung BLEPT, yung mga board exams, mabilis lang kasi machine. Kaya kung nabutas mo yung test paper mo, hindi babasahin ng machine, 0 ang nakuha mo sa board exams. Okay? Kaya dapat yung pag-shade mo sa board exams, yung carry lang, yung normal lang. Gagamit ka, dapat ano din, dark and straight, parang gano'n. Pero kung ang kaya pag board exams ninyo, we are providing Mongol 2 pencil. I-distribute namin yung pag board exam na para iisa ang gagamitin nyo. Kasi yun talagang ideal for board exams. Okay? Yung Mongol 2 na galing pa ng Pinas. Para para walang chance na ikaw ay hindi babasahin ng machine ang iyong test paper, yung answer sheet mo sa board exams. So, ang standardized can be scored by a machine. Imagine mo sa Pinas, nag-exam ng BLEPT ay 200,000. High school pa lang yun. O kung isi-check nila isa-isa, kailan pa matatapos? So, dapat machine. Okay? Yung informal, si teacher naman ang gumawa, so pwedeng i-check ni teacher. Individual or group tests. Individual, siyempre, isa-isa. Group, yung isang klase. Ganun. So, yung group, eto naman yung paper and pen test. Nagpa-exam ka, yan. Buong klase nag-exam. Yung individual, eto usually yung mga performance test. Let's say sa MAPE, i-apply mo yung pinuturo mo sa basketball. So, lahat maglalaro. Pero nire-rate mo sila one by one. Let's say magpa-free throw o that's individual. Sayaw, ano ka ng sayaw, declamation, yan. Those can be individual type of test. Performance type of test. Objective and subjective type of test. Kasi ito yung effect of biases. Okay? Pag objective, scorer's personal judgment does not affect the scoring. Pag subjective, minsan, meron siyang biases and judgment. Okay? So, paano bang objective type? O yung mga multiple choice, iisa ang sagot mo. Maglagay ka ng isang answer. Pero kasi pag nagbigay ka ng essay, tapos wala kang rubrics, magiging subjective minsan. Di ba? Nakita mo lang doon ang ganda-ganda ng penmanship ng bata, yung mga words na ginagamit niya. 10 kaagad ang binigay mo. That's bias. That's being subjective. Okay? So, pag objective type, kasi wala ka ng choice. Yun na yung answer. Diba? Kung true or false, ito talaga ang answer. Wala ng bias kasi it's objective. Kaya, para maiwasan ang subjectivity sa mga exams, dapat meron tayo laging rubrics. Ang dami namang rubrics na lahat naman ng textbook may nakalagay, may mga sample rubrics. Power and speed. Speed test, power test. Okay? Consist of series of items arranged in ascending order of difficulty. Ascending. Pahirap ang mga test. Let's say, ang dadali muna, then pahirap ng pahirap. Okay? That is to measure students' ability to answer more and more difficult items. May mga ganong test kaya we call it power test. Yung speed test naman, consists of items approximately equal in difficulty. Pare-pareho ng hirap. Paanuhan lang. Speed. Pabilisan. Measures student speed or rate and accuracy in responding. Ilan kayang masasagutan niya in 1 hour? Kung magaling yung bata, baka 30 minutes nasasubmit na siya ng test paper niya. Okay? Speed test. Yung power test, hindi. Yung pahirap ng pahirap ang mga items. Meron din tayong mga selective and supply test. Ang selective test, select, di ba? May pagpipilian. Like multiple choice, true or false, dalawang pagpilian, true or false, and then matching type. I-match mo sa column A to column B. Ano pa? Minsan yung mga identification natin may choices din nakalagay sa box. So anything na may choices na mamimili ka, that is a selective type of test according to format. Okay? Tapos pag ikaw ay magsusupply, that is a supply type of test. Like halimbawa, fill in the blanks. Diba? Fill in the blanks type of test. The 7 Emirates of the UAE are blank, Dubai, blank, 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 plus Al-Qaeda. So you need to supply the remaining, the missing answers. Yun yung supply type of test. Short answer. Yung ano lang, let's say word, group of words, numbers. How many planets do we have in the solar system? Tapos blank. Let's say 9. Sulat mo 9. That's short answer. Completion, restricted or extended essay. Essay is a supply type of test. Kasi wala kang choices doon. Ikaw mismo ang magbibigay ng mga sagot. Okay? So yun yung selective and supply type of test. In supply type, there are no choices for the answer. Sa selective, merong mga choices. Yun yung pagkakaiba. Okay? Aaralin naman natin isa-isa yung mga yan. Supply type. Norm reference and criterion reference. Ito, parang sa ano din ito? Parang sa standardized and informal. Kasi based on interpretation lang to. Yung norm reference, you are comparing one student performance with other student. Let's say, meron tayong exam na ganun yung district test na sinasabi. Tapos malaman nila kung sino ang top-notcher sa buong district. Kung sinong school ang pinakakulelat sa mga exams. Diba? Yan, yung international benchmark test. Ayun, yung PISA exams. You are comparing the students with other countries. Kaya nga rank 68 tayo sa Philippines eh. Sa UAE, rank 34. O, di ba? Nakakalahati. Ibig sabihin, pag rank 34 ka, mas magaling ka sa 36. Mas magaling ka sa mga 36 countries. Sa Philippines, rank 68, mas magaling lang siya sa 2 country, di ba? Kasi number 68 siya. That's a norm reference kasi kino-compare yung results, ini-interpret yung results, kino-compare with other results. Yung criterion reference naman, kino-compare lang sila based on the criteria. Hindi sila kino-compare sa other estudyante, sa other country. Okay? Kino-compare lang nila sa criteria lang. Okay? Kung let's say, outstanding, excellent, yun lang, mga inano lang. Ito, lahat ng to excellent, lahat na to outstanding. Okay? Yun yung pagkakaiba ng norm reference and criterion reference type of tests. Okay? Questions? Okay. Let's continue. Now, isa-isahin na natin yung mga test. Okay. According to format, supply tests. Yung mga short answer type of tests. Direct question that can be answered by a word, a phrase, a number, or a symbol. For example, kung nag-a-ask ka, what is the title of the book written by Jose Rizal, blah, 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 blah. Kung ang sagot doon ay no limit tangere, sulat mo doon, no limit tangere. That's a short answer. Okay? Completion type, it consists of an incomplete statement. Gaya ng example ko kanina. The 7 Emirates of the UAE are blank, Dubai, blank, blank, Ras Al Khaimah, blank. Ibig sabihin na-arrange siya from Abu Dhabi papuntang Fujairah. So, yung mga wala doon, sulat mo na lang. So, you are completing the statement. That is a completion type of test. Okay? So, 10 items na short answer, 10 items na completion test. Based on your major. Okay? Kung graduate ka ng business management, marketing, ang gagawin mo ay social studies. Okay? Kung BS biology ka, syempre science. Kung nursing ka, science. Psychology ka, science. Ano pa? Kung engineer ka naman, mathematics. Ang gawin mong type of test. Okay? Clear? So, since high school ang i-handle nyo, dapat junior high school. Huwag muna sa senior high school. Junior high school lang. Ibig sabihin, from grade 7 to 10. Mamili kayo dun kung anong gusto nyo gagawan ng test. Okay? Next. Restricted response and extended response. Essay. Magbigay din kayo gumawa din kayo ng essay. Essay na 10 points. Hindi 10 items ha, 10 points. Pwedeng isang question lang that is good for 10 points. So, ibig sabihin, 1 item, 10 points. Okay? So, ang restricted, ito yung limited. Limits the content of the response by restricting the scope of the topic. Yung extended response, it allows the student to select any factual information that they think is important, pertinent to organize their answers in accordance with their best judgment. Okay? Pwede nyo i-restrict. Kagaya nung sinasabi ko, di ba, kanina na, not more than 5 sentences. O di, 5 sentence lang isasagot nila. Okay? Pero kung wala kang ilagay na ganun, ako, baka mamaya 2 pages ang sagot nila sa essay mo. Ilang paragraph. Ang hirap magbasa, mag-check. Okay? That's essay type of test. Now, in terms of non-cognitive tests, yung non-cognitive, ibig sabihin, cognitive has something to do with the intellectual or mental development or capacity. So, hindi masyadong pinag-iisipan. Halimbawa, 1. Close item or forced choice instrument type of test. Checklist. I-check lang nila doon. Height mo, eye color, black, hair, i-check lang. Okay? It measures students' preferences, hobbies, attitudes, feelings, belief by marking a set of possible responses. Checklist. Pwede rin kasing ibigay yun. Pero this is a non-cognitive. Scale. Yung may scale 1 to 5, scale of 1 to 10, i-rate mo si ganito 1 to 10, rate the degree. So, pag scales kasi, these instruments indicate the extent or degree of one's response. Let's say, 1 disagree, 2 slightly disagree, mga ganon. 5 na yung agree, di ba? So, scales, tawag doon. We have 3 type of scales. Yung rating scale. Ito yung 3 or 5-point scale. Yung 1 to 3 or 5 points. Okay? I-rate mo siya 1 to 5. I-rate mo siya 1 to 3. Okay? Meron din tayong semantic differential scale. Ito yung halimbawa, math is easy, blank difficult. So kung i-ano mo siya into 11-point scale or 10-point scale, saan dyan? 8 ba? Easy or difficult? Ganon. Okay? Math is important, trivial. Math is useful or useless. Ito yung semantic differential scale na sinasabi. And the last type of scale, ito, Likert scale. Usually, nakikita nyo to sa mga research. Diba? Yung science is interesting. Agree, strongly agree, undecided. Yung gitna lagi ang neutral. Pwede rin isulat mo dyan, neither agree nor disagree. Ibig sabihin, wala siyang pakialam. And then, to disagree, and then strongly disagree. Likert scale ang tawag doon. Okay? It measures the degree of one's agreement or disagreement sa isang statement. We call it Likert scale. Diba? Nakikita niyo yan lagi sa mga surveys, sa research survey. Okay? So, next is alternative response. True or false is an alternative response type of test. Bakit medyo non-cognitive test? Bakit non-cognitive? Kasi syempre, dadalawa lang yung options. Halimbawa, reading is the best way of spending leisure time. Is it true or false? Diba? Dalawa lang yung pag negative na false, pag positive, true. Alternative. Kasi you are choosing between 2 possible responses. Parang kasi, kung hindi ito ang sagot, may alternative. Parang ganun. Okay? Kaya alternative response type of test. 2 possible responses lang ang alternative. Yes, kaya nga minsan ang hirap magbigay ng true or false kasi mahuhula yung mga bata. Kaya ako naman, siyempre sabihin ko, analyze the given statement correctly. Right minus wrong. O, di ba? Para maiwasan yung pag-guess. Pero ako sa high school, nagbibigay, kasi marami din tayong type of true or false test. Meron yung TFFT variety, yung true, false, false, true variety. Diba, sa mga board exams, write A if the have you met this type of test? Write A if the first statement is correct, a true, and the second statement is false. Write B if the first statement is false and the second statement is true. Write C if both statements are false. And write D if both statements are true. Oh, di ba? Naging mas creative yung higher order yung true or false mo. So, gagawa ka ng on each item, may dala-dalawang statements. Yan. Mag-iisip yung mga bata. Sa high school, ganun ang binibigay kong type of true or false type of test. Hindi yung ganitong true or false. Napaka-basic. Kasi makikita na kaagad nila doon. Especially kung gagamit ka ng reading is not the best way of spending the audio. False na yon, di ba? Automatic. Kaya, be creative. Ranking. Ito, measure students' preferences. Ira-rank mo lang siya. Rank the following subjects according to its importance. Pag ganyan, syempre, perfect score yan. Kasi, kung nirank ng bata na arts ang number 1, bakit? Yun ang gusto niya, di ba? According to importance. Para sa kanya, mas importante yung arts kaysa kay science. Okay? Open-ended instruments, same yung completion and surveys. Okay? Ano pa last is essay type of test.
Thank you so much for watching. Before leaving, please do click the like, subscribe and get notified button.